Chris Lee, Blake Lovell, and Blayne Gilmer of Southeastern 14, presented by Stakes. We are going to preview Saturday's game between Auburn and LSU. That game at Auburn, 7 Eastern on ESPN. 46-point over-under, LSU, a 7.5-point favorite. And let's make something really clear first, because this could be very, very important. We are doing this on Sunday night. We do not know the status of LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels, who was knocked out of the New Mexico game as LSU recorded a shutout. So we will have a live stream on Wednesday in which we go over our picks. We talk about what has changed. So if things change between now and then, we will discuss that on Wednesday night at 9 Eastern. That could be a big factor in this game, although LSU seems to have some quarterback depth, and frankly, right now, I think LSU could put several guys at quarterback and probably beat Auburn unless Auburn starts playing better, Blayne.
Auburn's going to be asking if they can have one of LSU's quarterbacks. I think at this point, it's kind of getting that way. TJ Finley, who knows if he'll be available to play against his old team? He wasn't available last week. Robbie Ashford gets a little dinged up, even though they came out and said it wasn't too bad after the game. Holden Garner from Savannah, Georgia, even got in that game for a little bit for Auburn. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things end up lining up, but. On the surface, you look at this, if you were just a casual college football fan that didn't know anything, Blake, you see 2, 3-1 teams coming in here, but they couldn't be further apart in how it feels that they've got to that 3-1. It seems like LSU's on the uptick there after a unfortunate turn of events against Florida State, and Auburn, man, it's they snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat against Missouri this past week.
Yeah, it feels like two teams heading in different directions in terms of positive momentum. Because, like you said, even though Auburn wins that game, you come out of it, a lot of people still maybe more frustrated than they were when they went into it. And again, it was not pretty against the Missouri team that we all seem to think, based on our power rankings, probably the worst team in the SEC to this point. So I think that's what you take away from Auburn. And meanwhile, LSU's done some good things since that first game against Florida State. I think everyone overreacted to that game, and all of a sudden was like, boy, this team, not going to win a game, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But as we always say, it's, you're going to get better. I think if you improve some of those areas, LSU's done that. And I think they're kind of heading in the right direction right now.
Okay, when Auburn's got the ball, you mentioned the quarterback situation. Throw Zach Calzada in there, too. He's on the roster. I think he's hurt. So, I mean, who knows where Auburn's throwing quarterback.
He's actually having shoulder surgery, and he's going to be out for the year. So now they don't even have him, and it's his off-throwing shoulder. So things have gotten so bad that they could have went and got a lot of guys out in the transfer portal. They get a guy that has a shoulder injury, and it's just going from bad to worse at the quarterback position for Auburn.
Yeah, Finley out last week. Looked like he was asking to go in at one point in that game. Auburn averaging 23.8 points a game. LSU giving up just 14.3. Now, that's been against some soft teams, but that unit's starting to look pretty good. Auburn averaging 7.9 yards per pass, which I would not have thought. LSU giving up 5.9 per pass. Auburn averaging 4.4 per rush, LSU giving up 3.5. But, Blayne, my goodness, Auburn runs the ball 45 times for 82 yards against Missouri, 1.8 per carry. Bigsby goes 19 for 44, 2.3 per carry. Jarquez Hunter carries 7 times for 13. Both those guys have performed way better, but Auburn's offensive line is not very good. You have to really squint to find a silver lining for offense for Auburn. I mean, I guess maybe if Robbie Ashford is healthy, he has shown some flashes at times. If that's and of course we know Bigsby can run if he's got some blocking, but that's a lot of ifs there, Blayne.
Yeah, that Auburn offensive line has struggled to get movement, and even with Mason Smith out for LSU, that defensive front, it's not as if it was devoid of talent under Ed Orgeron. Brian Kelly inherited a talented defensive line. You got Ali Gay, BJ Ojulari that are up there up front. Mike Jones has stepped up and done some stuff at inside linebacker for them. I mean, it's a talented defense, and I think it's going to be tough sledding for Auburn to be able to find running room, and they're just not able to get Tank Bigsby going. I believe Tank Bigsby is the best running back in the SEC when it comes to talent and all of those things. But when you just don't have the holes, Blake, to open up to run through, it's tough. It's tough on you, man.
Yeah, Chris, we've talked about the LSU defense up front being a strength, and I think especially now you look at this Auburn offense and knowing, again, game planning wise, why would you game plan anything other than saying, all right, you guys drop back, try to beat us through the air, and we are going to take away everything else.
Stop
And
four.
if you do that, great. That's congratulations, because that's how we're going to game plan. And I think that's exactly what you'd expect here from LSU. And again, knowing that they're going to be able to do some things up front, I think, that are really going to be able to probably frustrate this Auburn offense even more than maybe it already is. So,
okay, we will talk about LSU when it has the ball in just a minute against Auburn's defense. Before that, big games coming up in the SEC this week. To add some excitement, we at Southeastern 14 will be making plenty of predictions in the Stakes app. That is STAKES. We want to hear from you guys if you agree or disagree with our takes. So go to playwithstakes.com/14. Sign up for Stakes. Place your predictions on games and other things we create in that app. Use the invite code Southeastern14 when you sign up. You'll get a double welcome bonus. Guys, Stakes is entirely free. It is free to join. It is free to play. It is free to brag when you beat your friends or beat us, and you can win stuff. You can win NFTs. Just a super cool app. No reason not to join, so go in and do that if you've not already. Okay, LSU averaging 39.3 points a game. Auburn's got a good defense, giving up 21.8. LSU throwing 8.0 yards a pass. Auburn giving up 7.2, which is a little higher than I would have thought, but Auburn's played some respectable teams. LSU averaging 5.5 a rush. Auburn giving up 3.7. Of course, we've got the Daniels angle. I guess we will presume he will play. I guess, is it Nussmeier if he doesn't, perhaps, Blayne?
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier.
Take that and go with it. Yeah.
I mean, Garrett Nussmeier would go. They've got Walker Howard, a freshman that, he's maybe got a little bit of a look there, but Garrett Nussmeier would be the guy up. But I think Jaden Daniels is going to be okay. Not sure about that, but if he is available to play for LSU, then I think you see a LSU team that is able to just outlast this Auburn team, Blake, because it's not that Auburn's defense has been terrible on the year. They've just been on the field a lot, and that adds on over time. I know there's the magic of Jordan-Hare Stadium and all the crazy things that happen, but if they're getting, doubled up on snap count, then I just think eventually Jaden Daniels being able to run around and elude people and then people popping up and down the field. And, I think you can LSU can eventually get the run game going a little bit too. I think LSU has a pretty successful offensive day in this one, Blake.
yeah, because like you said, I mean, the Auburn offense and defense, there's a connection there, right? Because if the defense, like you said, is on the field a lot, that can be a frustrating thing too. And I think with this LSU offense, we talked about it, kind of where they've come from even a month ago, I guess now, guys, 3 weeks, whatever. You've seen improvement there. You've seen what Daniels can do with this offense. So again, everything is contingent on, okay, if he plays fully healthy, I think at that point, again, you're looking at, I think, some things that LSU will be able to do offensively. If he doesn't, like we said, it's hard to know and hard to probably give a great read on that, just because, we don't know exactly what that looks like going up against, like we said, guys, it is an Auburn team. Offensively, we know what they are, but defensively, they've got some pieces. It's just, again, what are they going to be seeing against LSU? That's the question.
Okay, if you take the spread, if you take the over-under, if you do the math on that, Vegas's predicted final is 27-19. Blayne, I'll start with you. Give me a pick and why.
Yeah, I just don't think that Auburn will be able to sustain drives. And like I said, that'll put as Blake and I alluded to, that'll just put more and more pressure on that Auburn defense. Eventually it's going to crack. Ryan Kelly says it's like a lower back strain for Jaden Daniels. I think that he'll end up being able to recover and play. So I think he ends up having a nice evening. I am going to take LSU to win this game 34-17. I really don't think it's going to be close.
Auburn is 0-4 against the spread this season, guys. That is an interesting number when you think about what their schedules look like to this point. Yet for some reason, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I think this may actually be a kind of grinded out type game, which would kind of favor Auburn here. But I'm going to pick LSU. I think this is I would not be surprised if this is a low scoring type game here, just again, based on everything we've talked about. So I'm going to go LSU 24. I'll go Auburn 17 here. So Auburn somewhat covers the spread, I guess, here in that scenario. So
by the hook.
Okay.
By the hook.
We have loved a lot of unders this week. I love one in this week's game too in Auburn. I just don't know how Auburn scores a lot of points. I'm going to go LSU 27, Auburn 10. So LSU to cover and take the under. So with that, we will update everything on our live stream Wednesday night at 9 Eastern. Hope you'll tune in and watch. We preview every SEC game every week. Have so far. We'll do that through the rest of the season. Best way to get all these is hit that subscribe button. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Steaks. We'll see you again soon.